Alright, Sonic Advance. Been meaning to play this again for a while. I used to play this a long time ago, but I just haven't really picked it back up. I guess we'll figure out why. Yep, we're gonna play as Sonic, because, well... all the other ones are better, I guess. I'd actually recommend you play this game as Knuckles. I think that's the most fair for this, but Sonic has one mechanic that is unique to him, and that is the rail grinds. I don't think you should actually use any of them, because it doesn't really matter all that much in this game, but it is unique to Sonic. Oh god, the music. Well, the Game Boy Advance wasn't the most popular for its musical instrument choice. But Sonic 1 in particular has, Sonic Advance, the first one, is not very good with the music. I also like how this level starts out with the beach. I think it was trying to match the Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 games that were out for the GameCube at this point. Remember, this is Sonic on a Nintendo console. Unheard of, I know. It seems so normal now, but it was something else. I never did the console war thing as a kid, but I can see how that might cause problems for certain people. Oh yeah. Love the spikes. Because they're not so bad in the first couple levels, but get ready for these spikes, because it's gonna be a doozy. Right there you can see the rail that Sonic uses. It's literally just a different way of ascending. Sometimes it takes you to a different part of the level, but it's never really like in service of a secret or something like that, so... I don't know. Especially if you want to get the Chaos Emeralds, I'd recommend you play as Tails. The physics in this game also aren't super great. They're... unlike some other previous games, you can still get momentum when you go down a hill, but like, especially if you're used to Sonic on the Genesis or even Sonic Mania, it just feels off. The Advanced series really is a different class of Sonic game. The physics are not quite as flowing as they should be. Like even there, like I'm not quite able to get up that hill. I get like stuck in a weird angle, and it I don't know. It doesn't feel great all the time. It's fine in these levels, but it's not as pleasant as you go along. We'll see some of that as this goes. By the way, this is a post-commentary. The original audio I had for this is the console was good, but the voiceover was crackly garbage, unusable. So I thought I had a good run. So why not? Why not do this? I haven't done one of these in a while, so here we go. Sometimes it's good to return to where you came from. But you got the loops. You got well, you know, let's talk about the invincibility power-up. I don't know what it is about the placement of these, but in like maybe 80% of them, it puts it in a place where you're not in any danger to avoid. So it just changes the music, and I have to say, and once again, the choice of song that they use for this and the instruments just don't make it sound good. There's a spring there, so you gotta jump over that, otherwise you get sent back. That's another obnoxious thing about this game, I guess. There's a lot of springs that like push you backwards that in no way would you be able to see coming. The Game Boy doesn't exactly have the widest screen, and even then, the game doesn't exactly adjust your camera when you're moving forward so you can see what's farther ahead of you. I don't understand what it's going to take for platform designers to adopt what they figured out in Sonic CD, where adjusting the camera a little bit went a long way, but here we are. Currently, there's no remake for this game. There's no other real way to play it except on the Game Boy Advance. You're stuck with this resolution. Advance 2 and Advance 3 have their own problems in this regard. Advance 2... it's all about going fast, but I don't know, the ludicrous speed you can achieve in that game is kind of nuts. That's another game where I feel like playing it as Cream the Rabbit is the way to go, but if you want to unlock everything, you gotta play as Sonic. Alright, Secret Base Zone. I really kind of like it. It reminds me somewhat of Starlight Zone in the intro. Then it kind of transitions into like a factory. It's very industrial. I like the idea that we're trying to break in, you know? It's pretty cool. It's got like a jazzy theme. I've heard of remixes for this game. I don't know. I think the composition as well as the music choice is not great. But I like this one because it's jazzy. It reminds me of, there was you ever play Burning Rangers from Sega? It reminds me of that for some reason. It might be the same musician, I'm not sure. This level is also kind of interesting because there aren't a lot of bottomless pits. As a matter of fact, I don't think there are any. If there are, I won't find them. There's lava, but you're unlikely to fall in that if you don't take the bottom path. And they're functionally like spikes anyway. Maybe I should take that back. This is also more of like a labyrinthian one, so if you want to find the spring to get to the Chaos Emerald, you're gonna have to like really look for it. Once again, I think Knuckles is really good for this stage, but also Tails is not bad either. Amy is the only odd one of the bunch, because her offensive options are not great compared to literally everyone else. I don't know that I'd recommend you play as her as your first playthrough. This one's like more focused on vertical platforming and stuff as opposed to actually going fast or hitting loops or whatever. Not a bad level by any means. Hot Crater in Sonic Advance 2 is just a much better song. Like, see, there's one of those springs. Did you know that was there? No? Oh, well, you know, I guess you'll have to remember the next time you do this level. Not that I'm sure it really matters, but we're not going to get any of the springs in this. It's painful enough to get them as Sonic, so you are going to see the extra zone that you get at the end, but don't expect to see the Chaos Emerald stages. They're actually pretty awful too, so I didn't do them. I'm all about having fun these days, so I would avoid them if you can. There's a ROM hack that like makes those sections easier, but it's not the ring count that's the problem per se, even though that is certainly a problem. It's the perspective. All the 3D-esque stages that you have to do for special stages, Sonic Advance does a really terrible job at that. My personal favorite special stages, other than the ones in Mania, I don't know if that's cheating. If we're talking about the classics, I actually really like the special stages in Knuckles Chaotix, a cursed game that is. One of these days, someone's gonna make a ROM hack of all the levels without having to deal with the what's it called? Oh, I love this enemy. If you run forward, you get hit. If you jump, you get hit. You have to like back up, and it's really fun. The enemy placement gets really bad as time goes on. They cranked this out in a year, from what I understand. So I understand that you can't test everything, but as we go forward, you'll see how could anybody have played this level and went, yeah, that's fine. I will just put that there. Yeah, it's there. So get ready for that. Oh, also, you saw a little preview of it there. Get ready for appearing and disappearing spikes that show up randomly as you're walking. It's very fun. I don't know why, but the music reminds me a lot of a stealth section. I guess maybe it's because it's a secret base. I really hope they never try to do this in a Sonic game. Please, for the love of God, do not put a stealth section in a Sonic game. I really like the mystery ring boxes because you can get up to 50 rings, I think. But in a lot of cases, you'll always get 20 or 30, which is really appreciated. Did I not get that checkpoint? Did I render this at 30 FPS? Maybe I did. This is Future Mark. The animation did not play, so I'm going to guess that I did not get that checkpoint. Oh, the electric shield. I actually got it in a previous level, but it doesn't let you double jump, and having played Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Mania lately, I have to say, what a mistake. I understand it's not like that in the Adventure series because it would be busted, but like, why did you break it here? That you don't get the homing attack in this game. You get this really stupid, it's supposed to be the Insta Shield, but how do I describe this? In the ball form, Sonic's ball is not as, like, it doesn't correctly line up all the time. I've actually watched this back in the footage. I've seen myself collide, what should be a collision with an enemy not work, and then get hit. So I believe what it does is it extends your hitbox, but the Insta Shield is, it's instant, and it gives you a much wider area. This one, I think, only works where the graphic is. So when you see me jump and it makes like noise, that's me using the Insta Shield, and it's just not as good. Compared to literally every other character in this game, except for maybe Amy, Sonic really gets the short end of the stick. Amy, I'm not going to be playing as any of the other characters. If you've seen the level with one, you've seen them with all, so might as well play with the classic Sonic. Amy's playstyle is specifically different enough that it's more of like a challenge run than it is an ideal way to play the game. I think it's cool that it's included, and they did a lot of weird stuff with Amy in the later games to make having that challenge run more annoying, but here it is. So I don't like the casino levels in this series. Yeah, I know they're supposed to be cool, you can play around in the levels, but if you actually want to get through them, because you don't need the points, you don't need the lives, right? The best path is simply to just go on the bottom path, and that's like kind of boring. A lot of people think the stage obstacles are pretty cool. You got the pinball flippers, you got the bumpers, right? But when you actually want to get somewhere, it's really annoying. I don't know that I would strictly call that fun, per se. Also, the later levels get kind of, like, garish. Like, I don't know if I would call this appealing level design. Not in terms of the gameplay, though that I certainly have my qualms about that. The actual visual design is, I don't know, it's vomit-inducing. It's just so hard to look at. Also, great enemy placement there. There's pretty much no way you can avoid that. If you go to attack the enemy, it'll always instantly hit you. Now, I know that enemies have to be, like, initialized off-screen because having them pop in looks really weird, but, like, having all of their behavior start moving when they are initialized is, like, I don't know, kind of bad. Nightmare and Dreamland had this problem too, where enemies were constantly hitting you from off-screen. The Game Boy Advance screen was just too small. There's just a lot you can't prepare for on this screen, and I don't know, like, because the first couple levels were like really easy, so I don't know that the game needs to be made any easier, but it's more like frustrating when I get tapped by something I couldn't see coming. There's there's always the argument, oh, Sonic's supposed to go fast, it's supposed to be about motion. And, like, it's a tired argument, but, like, I don't know, what would you rather do? Keep running or get hit by something? I will say I like that they continued the tradition of having different music between the stages. Sonic and Knuckles did this. Sonic 3 and Knuckles did this, I should say. So, it's nice that they're carrying that forward. What games came out after this? There was Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, so I don't know that that really counts, because they just did different stage music for the different stages. Did Sonic Advance 2 do this? I don't remember, and I kind of don't want to play Sonic Advance 2 or 3. So, you're probably not going to see those on the channel more than likely, unless I'm very curious. This is Future Mark again. Sonic Advance 2 and 3 both carry on this tradition. They also carry on the tradition of the sound quality being not so good. I must have beaten this game a million times as a kid, so... In some ways this is nostalgic, but it's like the painful kind of nostalgia where it's like, oh, I remember this. Currently, I'm not getting that feeling of why I stopped playing this game over the others, but I'm sure that'll show up eventually. It's like anticipating going to the dentist. You gotta get it done, but it's not pleasant. Gotta love the spikes. Like, okay. This is the bottom path, so... And this is not the most egregious example, but in a lot of cases, you fall down, and then not only do you fall down to the worst path, you get hit by spikes, and it's like, isn't it bad enough that, like, I'm on the worst path now? Like, do I have to permanently, like, do I have to take damage for this as well? I already know I messed up. Like, come on. Okay, so this boss is, how do I put this? All the bosses are kind of easy up to a point, but you can literally just duck, and you won't have a problem with this boss. If you time your hit right, they made it so that way you couldn't multi-tap the bosses in a lot of cases. The way you bounce in the old games, you don't bounce in this way. Like, the way that you bounce in the old games, you don't bounce the same in this one. So it's sort of hard to do, like, multi-hits, but they make the boss not hit you when you hit them for a little bit. So you can exploit that and hit him as he's going down the bottom path. But otherwise, you can just duck through the entire thing and only do it when it's safe. You barely need to move. It does get slightly faster as it goes on, but 8 hits and you're done. I just like to say that the instrumentation does the boss music no favors. I just don't know what Nintendo was thinking with the Game Boy sound chip. Like, yeah, you can kind of see how it's an extension onto the original Game Boy Color sound chip, but considering how big a leap of quality it was from the NES to the SNES, you'd think that maybe they'd put a little more effort into it, but here we are. Oh, one other thing I don't appreciate that they did in this. I suppose you can consider this as better, but you can't hang off the little lip of the button anymore when you push the capsule. Now he always walks off and does his animation. I kind of would prefer that they go back to the old way, but what can you do? He has that animation. You'll actually see it a couple times where he, like, almost falls off. That's always a cool touch of all the Sonic games. But yeah, oh, that painful nostalgia feeling is rearing its head. So these snowman enemies are a real bastard. If you go over them at all, yes, you'll kill them, but they'll shoot the projectile so fast that you'll take damage as well, so it's best to roll through them. This is also one of the levels where I remember things started getting bad. Part of it is that this is the water level for the game. Once you know what you're doing, it's not too bad, but there's a lot of obnoxiousness in this level if you hit the wrong path, or if you get stuck underwater and you don't get a bubble. I always try to avoid the water in this level, but it's inevitable. Water physics are also not great. Despite having an ice theme, I don't know that you're going to be slipping and sliding a whole lot, but it's complicated. I do and I don't like this level. The music in this level kind of reminds me a lot of, what is it? Sonic 3D Blast, I think that's what it was. I don't really recommend playing that one. It's hard to tell because the instrumentation is so bad, but it does remind me of it for some reason. Like Puppet Panic? Crystal, I can't remember the name of the ice level. No, Puppet Panic's not that one, but the instruments are similar. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Okay, every single time you have the opportunity to get a bubble, just take it. I know it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal, that you can probably keep going, but I feel like you always have less time underwater than you do in the rest of the Sonic series. So if you see a bubble, just take it. I know that when they did Sonic Adventure, they kind of did away with the elemental shields except for the electric one, but one of the things I kind of miss is getting the flame shield and getting caught in the water and losing the shield. The lightning shield seems to work just fine underwater though, so that's good enough for me. Oh, we're not actually going to see any footage of this, but one of the cool things about this game is that you get the Chow Garden. I don't understand why Sega just like won't bring this back. Just put it in every single one of your games. Just do it. Like you make it once and then it's there forever. So you do get to, well, okay, so as part of Sonic Adventure, You can like raise Chow in here and transfer them to the GameCube. The problem is the stats don't properly transfer. There's like a bug or something. I distinctly remember like shoving a ton of fruit into my Chow, trying to put it into Sonic Adventure when I finally got the transfer pack thing, and it transfer cable, and like all of the stats were missing. The level of the Chow was like big, but all like everything was at 0. So I'm like, what is going on? So I don't know that it serves any purpose other than the fact that it's kind of cool. Oh, Tamagotchis are pretty based. Sega could just make money, but they hate money. That's why we haven't had another Sonic Mania. That's why they never remade. Well, remade is the wrong word. I don't know that the adventure formula was perfect, but when they had good things going for them, they mixed up the formula repeatedly over and over again, and I don't know that it was iterative. Like Super Mario, like when, as the, oh yeah, terrific enemy placement there. Like even just the regular Mario Brothers, right? Super Mario was an iteration on regular Mario Bros. Mario 3 was an iteration on that. Like there were general improvements carried forward, but it was like ultimately the same experience in terms of like how you thought about the game, I guess. Whereas Sega kind of like makes it up as they go. The most consistent we've gotten is the original Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and Knuckles, and CD, I suppose. So the original 5 or 4, depending on how you look at it, and then Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and like that's it. Even then, there's some deviation between Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but I'd still argue that those are refinements, like cutting out the overworld, focusing more on less characters. Right? Did they do the best job with Sonic Adventure 2? Hard to say. You might actually see that for me, but I don't know that it's the perfect game, right? But every time that they've tried to bring things forward, it's always been like degenerate. Never a clear evolution. They always take on some negative traits and bring them forward. You see some of the worst aspects of Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog, and they're somehow much worse. Just because you've changed something and are moving forward doesn't mean you're actually making progress. It sounds oxymoronic, but I mean, oh, here we go. See? You really can't dawdle underwater. Oh, and just like in all the other Sonic games, even though you're invincible, you can still drown and you can still get crushed. Not that I think you'll get crushed here. But yeah, after Sonic Adventure 2, we got a lot of very weird things that were tacked on to the formula for 3D that wasn't great. Did we have 2D games? I know... See, there was the Sonic Rush series. I didn't actually play too much of those. I remember the boss fights taking a long time in one of them. I can't remember if I played the other one first. And I remember going, this is kind of annoying. I'm gonna cut this out. Never finished them. But I want to say the Rush games are the reason we had the boost formula. It's been a while. I remember spamming the trick button a whole lot. Sonic Advance 2 sort of adds this weird, oh yeah, fun. Yeah, isn't it cool that you can just like go on a spring and it just sometimes it just doesn't work correctly and you get screwed over? Isn't that cool? Like, did anyone play test this? Like you saw that, right? I don't think I did anything wrong. Oh, this time it worked. Good, great, cool. Ugh. All right, are you ready for one of the worst bosses in history? I have a lot of bad memories of this one. I suppose it's not that bad, but like, when you compare underwater bosses that you've had before, like Sonic CD's underwater boss was really cool. Yeah, it was easy, but like, I didn't hate it, right? It was Tidal Tempest, right? So, there's a weird quirk with this game where, I believe it's called rejection logic. When you land on a platform, it sort of like pushes you upward. That's kind of like how gravity works, right? But when you actually do it with any platform, if you're like in the platform, it'll push you up. So, the way you're actually supposed to do this is, because of how the platforming logic works, you're actually supposed to kind of jump into the platform and have it push you up, like that. And then you're supposed to be able to jump off of that. The problem is the bottoms are dangerous, I guess. So depending on where you hit the platform, because you're sort of supposed to be in it as opposed to on it, you end up in a potentially bad situation. That, on top of the fact that you're dealing with water physics, you have to drown if you don't get to the top. It's not fun. Sonic 3's was good. Sonic Mania's was good. I know that technically came out after this one, but you can do underwater bosses well. It's just not, it's just not great here. I made that look pretty easy, but I remember being very upset as a child over how annoying that is. There's so much to deal with. It doesn't help the physics aren't that great, but it is what it is. Alright, now aesthetically, I really like Angel Island Zone. I don't know, it's nice. I like the temple theme. I don't know, it looks cool. I like the background, I like the colors. It's muted, but like, it's still nice, right? This was the era of brown and bloom. So in a game that's mostly colorful, having some contrast, both in terms of like the actual colors you use and the types of levels that use them, it's really cool. Unfortunately, these levels are really long, and this is where the BS enemy placement starts to really rear its head, as well as those stupid spikes. For being a temple, this place has a lot of pits you can just fall into. There's a couple gimmicks on this stage. So you've seen that one already, with the bowl. That was available in Casino, it's not Casino Night. Is it Casino Paradise, I think. You sort of just fall in the bowl and that's it. There are these little grabby things that will bring you to higher heights or move you across the level in some way. We sort of saw that in the factory zone. Secret base, I should say. I don't know why I think it's a factory. I mean, I guess you would probably manufacture stuff at a secret base. Okay, so like this is my point, right? So you get the invincibility here. Like what danger is there? And like, yeah, I missed that jump, but like, look, you jump over here, you jump over here, you get on this spinny thing. That's one of the other mechanics. You jump up here, and then like, where's the danger? Those rocks, if you're walking forward, basically can't hurt you. And like, you're sort of forced to go down due to the ramp. So like, where's the danger? Why was I given this, right? Maybe I went the wrong way, but you know, somehow I don't think so. If you give me a power-up, you know, I should probably be able to use it. Like, you see that jump there on the corner, you'll notice it looked like I kind of didn't make it, but it kind of pushed me upward. That's what I'm talking about with like the projection logic. You can see that all over the place when you play this game. Well, see, it did it there too. All right, I want to say that these were done in Sonic CD or something. There was something you had to run on in order to get what you need to get where you're going. But like, I think it's kind of cool to have these gimmicks sometimes. You know, it sort of gives you a build up to go somewhere. The problem I have is that like, you actually do have to build up speed to move them, and then you don't really have anywhere to go after you build up that speed. Case in point, it's all platforming. So it doesn't feel jank so much as it feels bad. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to be able to see the bullet coming from that B. Like, yeah, I avoided it the first time, but I also kind of knew that it was there. So, oh, this drives me up a wall. The physics for when you jump off of a ramp like that, totally broken in this game. If you play literally any other Sonic game in terms of like how the physics work there, it's so much smoother. You have so much air control. It's... Oh, I should mention that this game also drops your inputs. You'll think you press the button and then suddenly just like fall off a cliff. Or sometimes okay, so the spin attack, right? The insta shield, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it'll activate on the ground. You'll go for like another jump because you landed, but actually it'll just spin on. It'll do the animation around you as if you had done it. And I could not tell you why this happens. It's endlessly frustrating. I haven't played another character in a while, so I don't know if it's as bad for the others. Oh, look, another spring. Yeah, isn't that cool? Isn't that like what you want to do, right? You want to go down this cool hill and then you gotta stop, gotta go back. Oh, here's the rail. I think this is the one time I do it, right? It literally just takes you down. I could have spin dashed down there. I'm actually getting a lot of 100 rings. I know that I don't carry them through the stage to the end, so the Chow Garden. That's how you get it. When you complete the stage with the rings, they transfer to the Chow Garden. But the fact that I'm actually even getting them is pretty good, I guess. Cool. Once again, that's kind of the incentive to play this over and over and over again, even if it's not that enjoyable. Getting the rings and feeding your Chow, there's just something really cool about it. Sega, please, I'm begging you, just do a good implementation. You can make it a mobile game. People will pay you money for this. Don't you like money? Why don't you like money? Why do you hate money? Yeah, so the stage is going on for like 4+ minutes, where the other ones have gone on for like 2. So you'll notice a trend here with the stages as they go on. There's one stage that will buck that trend, but we'll get there when we get there. What happened with the sound there? Well, nothing's perfect, I suppose. Oh yeah, this one's also my favorite. Like, you know, typically you want to get a move on, you want to use the dash to go forward. Why don't we just put a big pit that like you can't avoid? Why don't we just put a big pit you can't avoid? Right at the beginning of the stage. Great, cool, great, I love it. This level's a lot more dangerous than the first one. There's a lot more moving blocks in this one, which is like fine. You actually can't jump through there, so like you can't get crushed that way. But this stage is a lot more punishment in terms of like making you redo stuff as opposed to actually outright killing you. Though it also has a lot of that too. It's just that you'll notice like, hey, I've been here before a couple times. You may notice some edits where I edit out some repeated content. Level design like this is like really mean-spirited. Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely knew that was there. Very fun, very cool, yeah. Well, there's only one spike that time, it could have been two. You actually have to hold right there, otherwise you will not land on that platform and you will fall off. Just a heads up there. Oh look, there it is, this is my favorite. There are some of those where two spikes, one that comes up, one that comes down, where it's like impossible to jump over it unless you're very precise. Or you don't have the right momentum. It's just, you know, it's great. Oh, here it is. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. If you go frame by frame, you can actually see when I collide with that enemy. You can see on my way down that I'm in the ball and I'm overlapping the enemy, but it's not good enough. It's ridiculous. To my knowledge, I don't know if they've ever brought back the randomized ring box. They really should if they haven't. They brought back the Chaotix ring. See, but like, once again, let's see. This lasts a while, but let's see. Is there anything coming that I would need this for? And I guess those spikes, but oh, look, it ran. You know, I guess I ate my own words, right? Right when I needed it most, it ran out. Cool. Yeah, isn't it cool that like you can just make a jump and not know that there's anything there? Like, isn't it cool that like, isn't it cool that that can just happen? Oh, and look, another spring, our favorite. Fun. Oh yeah, I'm also pretty sure I pressed the A button there to jump, and I think it's because I hit the ramp at the right time. The A button just didn't press. Fun. Like, I guess I'm happy for the checkpoints, but this isn't really the most fun level design. Alright, I think we're in the final stretch. You'll never guess who the boss of this is if you've never played this before. I suppose you'd also like not know if you hadn't played any of the other games. And when I first played this, I had never played Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I should specify, I had never played all of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. My cousin had a Genesis. Like, I didn't even realize that, like, I had a Game Gear, but I didn't realize that Sega had made other consoles. And when he told me Sega made that, I was so young, I'm like, that's not real. Like, it's weird to remember how I used to think about video games. I didn't even have like any Nintendo products until the Nintendo 64. I was a DOS gamer. So yeah, Knuckles is the final boss. My father brought home an IBM something computer, like his work gave it to him or something. And like, that's what we played games on. I thought when people said computer games, I really thought they meant computer. I didn't realize that you could, I knew the NES existed, but like, I didn't know like what Nintendo was. The way it worked for me was we like, even before the computer, my father had an Atari 8-bit, I guess it was also a computer. My father had an Atari 8-bit computer, and you could play Pac-Man, my all-time favorite Centipede, and like a couple other games on the cartridge. And I thought that, based on the evolution of things, that that all things that could play games were computers that hooked up to your TV, right? And that the computer screen was just a special type of TV. Okay, are you ready to stop having fun? Because now's the time. Really cool concept for a level, okay? As you go up it, as you ascend, the bits and pieces of the rocket break off. You actually have a timer. You have a 5-minute timer, and you got to get to each section before the timer runs out. You'll notice that the timer's ticking down instead of ticking up. No, I promise I haven't edited this, so I've spent 4 minutes in the level. There's no tornado stage in this game, so you'll just have to live with this. Really cool concept. What's the problem? Spikes and enemy placement and level design. It's really cool to have enemies that you can't kill as obstacles that also shoot you when they're able to be hit, right? These little mole things are not necessarily a problem by themselves, but the way they're placed can be very obnoxious. This is also a level where if you fuck up, you end up back in a previous level segment that you have to do over multiple times if possible. It's infuriating. If you weren't convinced of the game being mean-spirited before, now's the time. I think I spent the most of my time in this playthrough on this level, just going back and forth. You won't have to experience that, but it was not fun. There are arrows on this level too, which kind of tells me that the level design is so all over the place that these were necessary in order to get people through it at all. Like, why would you go left? In most Sonic games, you go right unless you're going left for a very specific purpose. I'm not saying that like you can't break convention or whatever, but I don't know. Clearly it's done very poorly. Oh, and here's another example of the messed up physics. Not this. You know, once again, it's like it's bad enough that I failed the jump, right? Do I have to be punished? Do I have to be punished? Do I have to be punished with spikes as well? Is that what makes this level hard? Is that the fun? Is that the challenge? So yeah, you go up this ramp in Sonic Mania, in Sonic and Knuckles, in Sonic 2, maybe not Sonic 1, but probably Sonic 1. That ramp would carry you all the way across. Not so in Sonic Advance. It does improve your jump height, but it doesn't actually give you the length that you need. So you always end up missing things, and it feels very stiff. It feels bad, is what I'm saying. And it shouldn't feel bad. It's a Sonic game. The physics are what differentiate it from Mario. Yeah, you saw me try and do it there. I keep muscle memory. I keep trying to double jump. I finally got over the drop dash. Okay, the drop dash wasn't in any of the other games, so I can live without that one, I guess. But it was probably poorly implemented when they first tried to make it work in, I think, Sonic 2 or Sonic 3. But man. Why doesn't this shield let you double jump in this game? Tails can fly. Knuckles can glide and climb on walls. The level geometry is like already broken. So there's no reason not to give me the double jump in the shield. Even Amy gets a bullshit jump thing for her kid. So why? Why must Sonic suffer? You know, I'm pretty sure rockets are supposed to jettison all of their stuff all at once. How many segments does this thing need? See, is it here? There's something up with one of these hills where like I get stuck halfway up it, even though the physics should just work. See, why is it when I did that rev, I jumped instead of moving forward? I don't get it. Shouldn't I have kept revving? Come on, you can do it. My ring count is pretty high at this point. I think it has more to do with the special things. Okay, whatever you do, don't take that bottom path. It's absolutely obnoxious to platform over. Don't do it. Sort of hard to figure out how to not get on that bottom path if you've never put the level before, but the bottom path is hot garbage. Pretty much any segment where you have to go outside the rocket is hot garbage, but I digress. Oh look, you see the spikes coming. You know that if you keep going, you'll get landed on the spikes. Then there's these spikes coming from the ceiling, which can crush you, by the way. How would you know those are there? You don't. You wouldn't. Like, right here is like a perfect square of things that are all awful all at the same time. These little floaty barrel things are kind of weird. If you jump into them, they'll push you, like, upwards. That one's my fault. One of the ways you can, like, there's like a section later where you can like glide through them. It's I don't know, it's funky. Oh yes, my favorite. It gives you an invincibility power up that takes too long to work when you get on the spikes. It makes you redo that entire section. What? Why is this here? Why isn't there just a fucking wall there stopping me from being able to go through? Oh my god. Oh, we don't want to put spikes that go up there too. We don't want to, like, it's already at a bad angle. It's very difficult to jump over. We don't want to put other spikes that can crush you there too. Fun. Oh. The other problem with this level is that I don't actually know how long we've been on it. So, okay, once again, you jump up there to try and avoid the spikes. You land in such a way that you get hit by a projectile by an enemy you can barely hit. Fun. Oh, and upcoming's the best part. Ready? Okay, you hit the spike. You hit the spring. Bam. You hit the spring. Bam. What am I doing wrong? I don't know. Maybe we'll try hitting it a different way with more speed. There we go. Why the fuck do I have to do that? I don't know. Why would you put spikes there? Why are spikes necessary to be put there? Yeah, pretty much all the fun evaporates from Sonic Advance once you hit this level, and it never actually recovers. Thankfully, we're almost done with this level, but goddamn, getting here was not fun. And like, it could be much more fun. It's such a cool idea for a level, but no. Oh, and then this platform exists solely to get you hit by either one of those. There's nothing actually up there. I died for nothing. Would you know that I died for nothing? No. Also, you have to redo the entire level segment because when the timer resets is your checkpoint. 2 whole minutes to get back here. Fun. Okay, and this is where I learned that there's nothing up there. Nothing. Yep, there it is, nothing. You get a cool view of the background, I guess. All right, breaking off another piece of the rocket. See, like, how cool is this, right? The background changes. You're ascending higher and higher. You can see space in the background. You see the planet. Look how fucking cool that is. Can't tell me that's not cool. Also, this segment has a bunch of boosters that don't manage to maintain your speed all the way up them, which is kind of ridiculous. Yep, okay, yep, very fun. You don't have a lot of mid-air control, so it's very easy to hit stuff like that. Oh well. This is one of the 2 levels that have a gravity gimmick to it. And of course, like, you can't see where those spikes are, but of course they'll make you land on them. It's fine. It's okay. No big deal. It's not like you would know that they were there. Oh, and the speed shoes also increase the speed of the music, and it sounds horrid. On a different playthrough I hit the speed shoes on the secret factory level, and I'm like, why is the music speeding up? What is going on? Why does it sound so awful? So, oh yeah, fun. Yeah, you totally knew that was there. You know, you go down a ramp with super speed. You get stopped. You try to assess what's going on, and bam, spikes. Fun. And then when you land on these platforms, right, which I've failed to do twice now, when you land on these platforms, you try to jump onto the next one, and what's there? A fucking enemy that you didn't know was there that hits you with a projectile that normally would have been a safe jump. Fun. See, like, look at this. Like, I'm trying really hard to avoid that. You have to know that's coming, and you just can't. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, yep, there it is. Really? Yeah, even me at that point is like, wow, cool. What broke? Why doesn't it work? This is where you have to jump off the thing, but because it drops your input sometimes, you can't quite get up the wall, which is required to do this section, so fun, as always. And of course, the game tricks you to think you have to land on those spikes, so you gotta be careful, but really there's a fan, and I don't understand the point of that smaller spring if you can just sort of hit the clear level area with that other spring. Why not just put the bottom spring on the bottom instead of pretending that we need to do this? But whatever. Cosmic Angel Zone. So, this level is absolutely terrible, okay? If you don't believe me that the physics are broken, I don't know how to explain that to you, okay? This level has it all. Spikes, springs, bullshit, gravity gimmicks, stuff you can't see, terrible enemy placement. At the very least, it's short. I guess it's short if you know how to beat the boss. The boss is obnoxious to say the least. It has a cool background, I guess. So you're literally in a giant egg or whatever. It's very colorful or whatever. But I have heard a remix of this song that's very cool, but look, once again, you either get hit by the spikes, you get hit by the enemy that's invincible, or you kind of just maybe a little bit get through the area. It's fun. That's what I call it. It's fun. It's fun. It's called good game design. There's the animation of falling off the side. Oh, this is a cool part. Bam. Okay, does that even out the terribleness of this level? No, but I like that it's there. Oh, and yeah, of course, right? So you fall down the platform. You barely have any time to parse what's going because you fall down so fast, and you hit spikes, yeah, as if falling down the platform and missing the upper path isn't a punishment enough. Cool. And there's the insta-shield being garbage. Cool. We're almost done, thankfully. Unlike the other one, which was like several minutes long, if you know what you're doing, you can really cruise through this. Getting hit by another enemy you can't see. Have to be careful because of the spikes. It's designed to hit you. I don't know what's wrong with the developers of Dimps, but they have a hatred of the player. It's apparent in pretty much every game that they make. Oh look, spikes there, spikes there. Oh, and spikes there too. Wow. Wow, fun. Cool. What a great game. I will say this is probably the only boss that gives you a litany of rings right before it, so have fun with this cool segment. I skipped another one previously, but you always have to do it to get here. So the way this boss works is you have to land on the thing in such a way that it goes down very far and flip him over. My advice to you is don't ever hit him on the way there. You got to hit him on the, on the way to the corner. Don't ever hit him on the way to the corner. You want to hit him as he's leaving the corner because, well, you'll see. You'll see. Not here. I think it takes 4 hits to do that. The way that he shoots these orbs aren't great either. Yeah, that one was my fault. I think it's this one. He doesn't always flip over. There's an internal timer for it. I don't know exactly what that timer is, but it's not necessarily that you're not jumping correctly. It's something else. So yeah, he speeds up like a madman and will attempt to hit you until he reaches where your character is. It's just, I don't know, there's a lot going on in this one, and it's hard enough as it is. So, fun. This is another one where you'll get stuck on for quite a bit. The amount of time I spent on this boss as a child was astronomical. Alright, we did it in just under 3 minutes. X Zone. At least it's not Sector Z. Hate those stupid missiles. Alright, I hope you're ready for a blast from the past. You ready? The easiest boss in Sonic history, and they've reused this one a couple times in all of their later games. Sonic 4, Sonic 4 Act 2, I think. There's another one where they reused it, but they remixed it a little. Either way, the throwback bosses only take 4 hits. I'm really thankful for that. At least it's not a waste of my time. Oh hey, it's the first boss of Sonic 2. By the way, in Sonic 2, you can spin dash into it and it'll bounce you off. If you spin dash into it in this game, you'll land inside it and then you'll get hit after you hit the boss. So fun, really cool. I'm so glad we put a boss I know how to beat very easily in a game that's much worse than the one it came from. All right, this is the final boss. The final boss for real, kind of maybe. So there's 3 types of attacks that it can do. If you stand on the 3rd line away from it, you'll typically avoid the any of the extra attacks. One of them is he shoots a ball that either goes high or goes low, but if you duck when you're on the 3rd line, it will miss you every time. He does a hand, which launches out at you, but the time that it launches out at you is random, so it could be instant or it could take like a couple seconds. The other one is a laser beam that's basically almost instant, but once again, if you stand on the 3rd line and you duck, you can't get hit. The only time you can hit him is when he's attacking or when he's walking back and forth, and it's completely random when he does it. So he didn't do too much of the ball, but that one also goes high, so you want to be careful when jumping if he pulls that down. And hey, I remember this. Didn't we do this in some other better Sonic game? I can't remember. Nobody played that one, I think. Sonic was never good, something like that. Oh yeah, you know, I also think we did this one. Can't quite remember. You know, Tails is really holding it together. Being the bro. I like Tails. I like it when he's quiet. Modern Tails actually has decent voice actors. It's just actually it's during this era, Tails did not have the best luck with these things. Now, I said I wasn't going to get all the Chaos Emeralds, but I have actually gotten them. This is the final boss for real. This is the extra zone, as it's called. As far as I'm aware, you don't access this normally. You have to select it from a menu. And the way you get this is you get all the Chaos Emeralds, and then you beat the game with all the different characters. Now, I don't necessarily think that with the other characters, the game is as bad. I personally prefer Knuckles, because I think it's a good mix of challenge and being able to undo the bullshit that is the level design. The only one you're really going to struggle with is Amy, and even as a child, I was able to beat the game as Amy. As a child, I was not able to get all the Chaos Emeralds, however. So, as a final boss, it's like really not that interesting. You just press B a lot to hit the head. It's really not as cool as the one in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But here we are. I mean, you don't even get to go Super Sonic, or Super Knuckles, or Hyper Knuckles, or Hyper Tails. So what's the point? This Even though there hadn't been a real 2D game for Sonic for some time when this came out, I can't imagine that anybody was impressed with this. You do get a different ending for this, technically. You get to see the credits again, but I don't really know that it's necessarily worth it to do it. In Sonic Advance 2, you gotta get the Chaos Emeralds with every character to just play as Amy, who has the same moveset in this game, and you gotta get the Chaos Emeralds on her too. No thanks. Not interested. And I never completed Sonic 3. I never completed Sonic Advance 3. Lots of things about it I don't like. All the bad things about level design and mechanics changes rear its head in 3, despite the fact that it's got some really great music that sounds really bad on the Game Boy Advance. Ooh, don't look at me, Sonic. I don't like that. Stop looking at me. Stop looking at me with those red eyes. You're evil. Stop it. All right, credits time. Sonic Team. That used to mean something, I guess. Sonic Team in name may exist, but oh, Yuji Naka. Speaking of existing in name, Sonic Team may exist in name, but I think most of the people are gone. Let's see, anybody else I know? Designers. Okay, all these people, you need to fix the last couple levels. Maybe fix the programming too, I don't know. Dimps. I have a big distaste for Dimps. Some of their games are fine, but I don't think that you should be aspiring to play fine games. You should be aspiring to play great games. Unfortunately, I don't think Sonic Advance is really one of those. Nobody else I know. I would consider approaching Wavemaster and asking them why their sound sounds so bad. Okay, so they do use certain things from other games, I guess. Two-player mode? Oh yeah, I guess there is multiplayer. Sega, they hate money, by the way. They hate money. All those people, they hate money. Guaranteed. Marketing research. Do the children like Sonic the Hedgehog? The answer was yes, for a very, very long time. I guess it's still true now, though it was waning right around the time of Sonic Boom. Go figure. Brian Ivanhoe, that's it? That's the only tester you got? For a second, I thought that said rude. Lead tester, Matt Brooks. What, did we get one person from every nation to test this out? Matt, you didn't play the final level and go, oh wow, this rocket level is kind of bad. Could you like maybe fix it? Like you didn't say anything? Maybe you did. Maybe they just don't care. I don't know. Also, the iconic Sega is not in this game. Where is it, Sega? It should be there. Sega! That's what it should say. It's in the Vocaloid games. Alright, well, I had a pretty decent time with this, I think. I think the original commentary would have been better, but I'm not going to play through this again to try and say the same thing, so please subscribe. It was nice. Hope you guys had a great time. See you next time.